Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've just heard about how we were born, how Gaia Prime needed to explode, and with Gaia in it, to stop Hades from taking over. But in doing so, Hades uncoupled all the subordinate functions to be autonomous. So that's why the machines have been working overdrive. The cauldrons have been producing machines to combat the human tribes. And Gaia's not in charge anymore, but she released Aloy, a almost 100% clone of Elizabeth Sobek, using her innate brain capacity and curiosity to find and seek the answers and the wherewithals to bring Gaia back online. But the alpha registries were corrupted, so it was all going to be blocked off to her. But Gaia has supreme confidence in her creator, Elizabeth Sobek, and by design in Aloy, and it proved right, because we're in here, and we've been given the instruction to go to Gaia Prime and how to bring it all back online. Operations log. Oh, there it is missing. So this is let's work all the way down. So that's 2326. So in 2326, over 700 years ago, inhabitants were released. Cross-check complete, sealed, all the data archives, all the operations suspended. So in 320, Gaia Prime order received. Runtime recommended. G-Prime straw query process. Gestation order received. Initializing. So now Gaia Prime's offline. All the nutrients depleted. Zygotes banks depleted. So all the zygotes are dead. Store file viable. Waking the multi-servitor. Ah, this is it. So they woke a multi-servitor, and that had a power malfunction. They repaired it. Chamber repaired. Gestation initiated. Well, it's all still offline, and they woke a multi-servitor, and they delivered it. The hatch was unsealed. The multi-servitor positioned the baby and then sealed the hatch again, and then the multi-servitor died. Sealed, and all the operations suspended, and that was the last time anything went on in this facility before the doors were opened. Crazy. But like we were saying at the end of the last episode, Aloy is devastated that she hasn't got a mother. She held out hope that she would have this, something she could hold on to of her origin.
Identiscan malfunction rectified. Aletheia 9. Brood 1 access unsealed.
But she's the product of some DNA and a machine. But she's got this purpose to save the world. The most important person on this planet at the moment, in terms of humanity. In terms of everything. We're making our way back up here. So we found out. Her life's work was to find out her origin.
Going to be interesting.
And all these people out here are going to ask so many questions that she's not going to be able to answer in the way they want to.
Aloy, forgive! Forgive! The goddess spoke to you?
She did.
What did she say?
That I was born to lift a curse, to kill a metal demon.
How, Aloy? How?
I don't know yet. But she told me where to go to find out.
And you will do this?
It was her wish. What she made me for. Yes, I will do it. I'll try anyway.
All praise Aloy, anointed of the Nora! All praise Aloy, anointed of the Nora!
Up!
All praise Aloy, anointed of the Nora!
First you shun me, now this? I will not be worshipped. I'm not your anointed. I don't belong to you. There's a whole world beyond your borders, whole tribes of people just as good as you. And it is all in danger. It's a world worth fighting for. Not just here, everywhere.
How can we help?
If you can fight, and you're willing, go to Meridian and wait for me there.
As Aloy says, so it shall be. Nora! Make way for Aloy! That she may forge the path for others to follow.
Have you seen the Anointed in action? I pity any machine that stands against her.
It's interesting there, I saw Resh, part of the people that were allowing her to making way, basically. We reached level 40. Okay, we can talk to Tirsa, but I want to talk to Resh
She
first.
went into All Mother Mountain
Forgive,
and was
Aloy.
anointed by the goddess herself.
The tribe I served is gone. Soon I will be too.
The Nora have lost too many, Resh. But in your case, I guess they can lose one more.
It's interesting. Let's try again.
Curse the goddess, and curse you. I no longer belong here.
I think you're onto something, Resh. Time to strike out on your own.
There.
It's interesting that we're not given the option to be compassionate there, and be, because we know the higher power of things, we're going to say, look, Resh, you love the tribe, you work hard for the tribe, just stay here, help the tribe. You don't have to like me, but we're on the same side here. You're not going to... the tribe will be less without you, because you're another pair of hands. And that sort of compassion may have rubbed off on Resh, but she clung to that hatred of him, which is an interesting choice, I think. Considering what she's just seen in here, that hatred of him would be now insignificant.
The goddess anointed her within the holy mountain.
Okay, let's speak to our Lady Tirsa.
Aloy, how kind of you to spend a moment with me before you depart. There can be no doubt now. You are a blessing made flesh, the will of the goddess incarnate.
It's really not that simple, Tirsa. But I guess it's close enough.
I know the path ahead will be dangerous. To kill a metal devil sounds impossible, but I believe in you.
Thank you.
They see her as a divine saviour, a Jesus-type figure that's been anointed by the All-Mother, but she's flesh and blood. She's got wounds and traumas and needs and desires, and we're going to find out about some of those now.
The Nora have suffered terrible losses, Tirsa. What's to become of them now?
That will be for the goddess to decide. Only she knows the future. For the moment, my sister matriarchs and I will see to the wounded. And as I promised, anyone who wishes to join you at Meridian, we will declare seekers. I think for the time being, we should remain here in the mountain, close to the goddess.
That might be best. If nothing else, it's a defensible position.
Yeah. She's saying, okay, whatever, but it's a good place to keep everyone safe. So this is what she wants to know. She's just found out about her... She hasn't got a mother. She's not got this maternal figure that she always thought she might meet. And she's kind of just realised that she did have a mother and a father, all in Rost. So she wants to find out more about him now.
Tirsa, I want to know Rost's story. Why he was made an outcast. He never told me. Said he took an oath of silence. What did he do?
Oh. Yes, that.
What crime did he commit?
I will tell you if you wish. But it is a long story. Are you sure you want to hear it now?
Hell yeah.
Of course I want to hear it. Tell me.
Rost never committed any crime. He was an outcast by choice.
What? What do you mean?
Many years ago, before the derangement, before the Red Raids, a band of murderous outlanders, 12 in number, struck without warning. At Mother's Vigil, they took hostages, and then pressed on, headed for Devil's Thirst.
We've been there.
Mother's Vigil? Where's that?
You would know it as the Forsaken Village, near the Karja border. But at the time, many families lived there. Ross was one of them. His mate was killed fighting the Outlanders, and his daughter was among those taken hostage.
His daughter? What was her name?
Alana. She was just 6 years old.
So we're beginning to understand. We knew about that he had a daughter right from the start because we knew Aloy wasn't Rost's blood relative. We knew that he was put in her charge, but for her naming day, Rost gave her a necklace that he would take back because it's a keepsake from his daughter Alana, but something... As she was about to go into the proving, knowing that they would never see each other again, he gave it to her as a kind of signifier that Aloy is his daughter. In all but blood.
Nora Braves couldn't stop 12 Outlanders? Or rescue the hostages?
It was quite impossible. We outnumbered them, but every time a Brave came within bowshot, the Outlanders killed a hostage.
What did they come here to do?
That was never discovered. We couldn't track closely enough to observe them. We know they camped beyond Devil's Thirst for 2 days. There were reports of... strange noises. And then, as suddenly as they came, the Outlanders made their way back to the border and disappeared.
So that's a mystery we never find out. Who were these 12 people? Rost will find out, sort them out in disparate parts of the world, but we don't know what they were doing there. And there's plenty of nice theories to be had. Was Silence involved in some way? Was it the start of the eclipse? We don't know.
What happened to Rost's daughter? She was... killed?
Rost was one of the Braves who tracked the Outlanders, keeping his distance. There were 6 hostages still alive when they reached the border. Alana among them. Rather than release them, the Outlanders slit their throats and left the corpses just across the border, mocking us.
Why?
Cruelty. They knew the faithful Nora would not leave the sacred land to collect the bodies, let alone pursue them. They thought themselves safe from our vengeance.
Are you saying that Rost went after them? That he became an exile?
No. Rost was beside himself with grief, but even so, he would never have broken taboo.
Then what did he do?
He called upon the most terrible and secret rite of the Nora tribe. He begged to be made a Death Seeker.
What is a Death Seeker?
Death Seeker? What is that?
One who dies to go seeking, and in seeking, brings death to others. The ritual drags the spirit from one's body, releasing it to All Mother's care. The heart beats, the mind thinks, but the spirit has moved on.
I don't understand.
Rost went after the Outlanders, but his spirit never left. It remained here with All Mother. He gathered the bodies of the slain and returned them. And then he set out in pursuit, not as an exile, but a weapon of vengeance. A barbed arrow shot from a bow, never to return.
But Rost did return.
Yes. A full year later, and terribly wounded. He collapsed at the border of the sacred land. A hunting party came upon him. He was delirious, in agony. By law, he should have died where he lay. But one of the hunters broke taboo, and reaching across the border, she dragged him to our side.
Who was she?
A brave who'd lost a mate and 2 sons to the very Outlanders that Rost pursued.
So Rost never finished his mission.
To the contrary, he killed all 12. Tracked them to disparate places the world over, he said. Meridian, Ban-Ur, the Claim, Utaru Land, further even, into the Forbidden West. The last he killed nearly got the best of him. Wounded, he stumbled and crawled back to us, hoping to die as close to the sacred land as he could. He never expected nor asked to be dragged across the border and nursed back to health. That was done to him, leaving us, the matriarchs, in a difficult position.
So at the time this is going to be released, I'm a few episodes ahead, obviously. I'm currently writing a script about Rost, a biography series that I'm interested in trying to cultivate. This is the first of that, just a little experiment. But basically looking into the motivations of Rost and his experience, because his background is patchy, what kind of guided him to make these decisions and what made him such a great mentor for Aloy, all this pain that he suffered. And obviously he's a very devout person. He didn't, even though his daughter was slain, he didn't want to step over the sacred land to go and get her body. That was his first port of call, that he said, no, I can't step over. His emotions didn't preclude him to disobey the tribal law. So he went to the matriarchs and said, look, make me a Death Seeker, I can go and get revenge, and I can claim back the body of my daughter and bury her before I go. So he would have done that, and he would have seen all these weird and wonderful places and disparate lands throughout the world, as Tirsa said. And he would have seen people utilising technology, people having different values and different moral codes, and that would have gone into his soul. And although he's still very devout as he comes back, he allows Aloy to keep the focus, even though it kind of it goes against their fear of the old ones and what that means to be worshipping machines, worshipping technology. But he lets her do it. He kind of checks himself because he has seen all these things and he knows that there are different ways to live, but his faith is still important to him because it's what he knows and what guides him. But he is kind of accepting of other ways of living, because he would have seen this as he travelled around the world for a year to kill these people. He probably had a few blinkers on, and he probably didn't see everything in the right light, but he would have imbibed different cultures. to a degree that would have changed him some way in his worldview. And that comes out a little bit, I think. Maybe not intentionally in terms of the writers, because you can only go into someone's character so much and think about the different variables, but it's there enough to wonder how these things would have affected a personality like that.
Why couldn't you just welcome him back?
Rost had been made a Death Seeker, Aloy. He no longer had any place among the tribe. By law, he should have been driven back out. But we couldn't bring ourselves to do that, so we offered a compromise.
You made him an outcast.
Yes. We offered to do so on the condition he never speak to anyone of this exception.
After all he did, all he suffered, to be declared an outcast was his reward.
Rost was overjoyed. He never expected to live another day in the sacred land, let alone the embrace, so close to the goddess. He resolved to spend the rest of his days in solitude, and was happy to do so.
But then you found me, and gave me to him.
Yes. Another compromise. The matriarchs feared you, and would not let you be raised by the tribe. And so we turned to Rost. I knew that he would take care of you, bring you up, teach you to worship All-Mother and respect the ways of the tribe.
He certainly tried anyway. You took a man who'd lost his daughter and made him raise an infant girl? Doesn't that strike you as callous?
I'm inclined to think the course of events has shown the wisdom of our choice. And I'm quite certain that from the moment he laid eyes on you, he saw you as a gift, and never a burden.
All right, Tirza, that's quite a story.
So there we are. That's the story of Rost. That's all we know of him. So we can go and see his grave now and talk to him a little bit about that. But yeah, could be seen as callous, could be seen as bringing up the past to give him a child and too many triggers, but he just thought he had a purpose again, and he could perhaps right a few wrongs in the upbringing of Aloy than happened with his daughter Alana.
It's time for me to move on. I thank you for doing what you could to help me through the years, and for telling me Rost's story.
I wish I could have done more, but I am just one woman.
As am I. No need to sell ourselves short.
Oh, thank you, Aloy. I will pray for you.
Okay, I guess it can't hurt.
They say she came from the mountain, that the mountain was her mother.
What have we got here?
In all my years, I have never seen anything like that.
I just can't remember what we did for Inara.
You have been chosen by the goddess, Aloy.
Okay. Lansra. You've changed your tune, haven't you, sweetheart?
You, Aloy. Anointed. I misread the signs. Forgive.
I told you, Lansra, I'm not your anointed.
All-Mother spoke.
I'm sorry I didn't see you correctly.
You still don't. I don't think you can, Lansra.
Forgive me.
Off your knees, Lansra. Start living on your feet with your eyes open.
Ooh, that's brutal. That's a brutal slight against religion, isn't it?
Aloy, as you commanded, my eyes are open.
Good. Now why don't you try keeping your mouth closed?
All-Mother spoke. It's true.
That's a bit silly, isn't it? That's a bit silly.
The killers will be forgotten by the goddess. None of their deeds will
Jezza.
go on in her memory.
My life has been long, but I've never seen anything like that. Tirsa was right. A blessing, not a curse. We were so unsure.
Those faithless
I know
murderers
your
brought
quest is
slaughter to our
dangerous,
tribe,
Aloy.
but they will not
But
escape
All Mother
Mother's
will
justice.
protect you.
I don't think it works that way, Jezza.
Yeah, any kind of faith that she had in All Mother has been stripped in her travels through these facilities. She's realised that they're just wrong. She's not going out of her way to explain it to them either, which is interesting. She's not going to sort of pull the rug from underneath them. She may do one day, but she doesn't feel it's time or there's anything she can do. Yeah, we'll get to that controller in a minute.
The killers did their worst, but by the will of the goddess, they could not break us.
I will lead a war party to Meridian. You have my word.
I shouldn't stare. She's going to think I'm rude.
So Sona is as devout as anyone, regard to the Nora lands, but she knows that she can leave now as a seeker and come and help the world at large rather than just her tribe, as is suggested or requested by Aloy.
The murderers tried to
Aloy,
destroy us.
how did you do that? We'll go to Meridian, Aloy. I'll bring Mother's spear.
Arana.
Your father is right. You belong here. You both do.
Thank you, Aloy, for everything you've done. I will make sure Arana is kept safe.
Dad, I'm not a kid anymore.
Let's see if these guys have got anything more to say.
Go inside and saw you emerge. Forgotten, but it's still hard to believe. You were an outcast once. And now, I'm not sure what you are.
She will destroy the corrupt.
Thox having his visions.
May the goddess protect you on your journeys, Aloy.
Aloy, how did you do that?
Shush, Arana.
Okay, so we've spoken to everyone. Let's speak to Val.
Aloy. I don't know what to say.
Say that you'll see me at Meridian.
Of course. That much is simple. But the rest...
Complicated. I know. But maybe if I took you into the heart of the mountain...
No. At least, not yet. I don't know. Please don't think less of me, Aloy. But the goddess chose you to see that. Not me.
Right.
Every man that she meets, after a while, ends up in complete awe of her. Just, I think it's Erin that mentions that she's glad to have known him for known her for just a moment, whereas he started out being a bit of a lech, bit of the big I am. I'm from a big city, Meridian, and I'm sort of speaking down to this village girl. But little did they know. So every man that meets her is just completely overawed. And any sort of attraction or lusting turns to kind of worship.
So the survivors took shelter in the mountain? By law, only matriarchs are allowed inside.
It was Tirsa who broke the taboo. Ordered the tribe into the mountain for safety. Lansra, well, she didn't agree. But I don't think anyone heard her over all the screams and shouting.
Tirsa's decision saved lives. Good for her. Common sense isn't always so common around here.
Okay, we've heard about everything else. See you in Meridian, boy.
I'll be on my way then.
I always knew you weren't like other Nora.
Neither are you, Varl. Maybe, if we survive all this, I can show you what I've learned. What I'm learning.
Perhaps. If the goddess so wills it.
See you in Meridian.
She, perhaps Val more than most, she feels like she can instruct him in the ways of reality. But he's not ready for that. And he says himself, I know what you're saying is true. I know there's wonderful things to happen, but I need to come to terms with this first. I'll stick with what I know. I'll stick with All Mother at the moment. And then you can tell me about Gaia another day. And she understands that. Perhaps she's a little bit disappointed that he is still so guarded about his innocence. But she realises she's had more skin in the game more time to come to terms with it than Val. So softly, softly in that regard. I'm always looking for any love interests, anyone special, and I don't know. It's not Erend. Erend, they're like a brother-sister situation, but Val's probably the closest to a blossoming relationship between the two of them that I've seen. I assume, well, perhaps because I'm heterosexual, I presume she's heterosexual, but we could be let into another side of her in Forbidden West, in other relationships, perhaps a same-sex relationship. She's got a great relationship with Talana, but that is purely a bestie situation as far as I can see. But it would be nice if there was a romance to blossom, despite her sort of mission that transcends it all. It'd be nice if she had some kind of romantic connection with someone. I doubt it's Tab, but I could be wrong.
Aloy, did you go inside the mountain?
You saw what happened.
Actually, can't see so well down here on the ground. I always knew you were special. But this...
Don't start calling me the Anointed or anything like that, Teb, okay?
I heard what you said, Aloy. But I still get to make my own opinions.
That's interesting, isn't it? They're all thinking that. Yeah, this is great, all of this stuff, but you know what? You can say, don't praise me, this, that and the other, but frankly, everything you've done, especially on this occasion, you're worthy of it, so you don't get to say that.
Blessings upon you.
Blessings upon us. Right. She's got the recognition she needs and desires, and the love, it's sort of just coursing into her. But she's kind of thinking, what's a fucking cheek? You had all those years to love me and bring me into the tribe, and you only do it now? So we exit All Mother Mountain on this beautiful starry night. We have another mission now, to head to Gaia Prime, to try and get Gaia back online, if possible.
Sighting won't be easy in the snow.
Okay, they've got a lot of rebuilding to do, but the Eclipse, for the moment, are not a problem. Let's head over to these ruins here and put our power cells in, just to see how many more we need to supply ourselves. So I think we can drag our heels a little bit over to Gaia Prime.
Saving these for the trail.
There's not the urgency that we had to get to All Mother Mountain to ward off an attack. I think there's time. There is time to enjoy before we go there. And after we go there, there'll be another occasion back in Meridian that I also think we've got time to do before we come under pressure there.
I'd have to leave something else behind.
And in that interim, between Gaia Prime and Meridian, we're going to go up to all... Look at the rising sun, the rising moon, the waxing moon. Right, what have you got? Karja Sling. Let's sell certain mods. Got all those. Let's sell all the green ones. The rest are all good. Right, item value. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. So we're not rolling in the money, considering how late in the game we are. What do we got here? What else can we sell? That's pretty much it, right? Going to keep these hearts and the braiding and the lenses. Right. Let's keep going. We're going to go into this little facility that will allow us to get an item of armour if we've got enough power cells, and I don't think we have. So we defeated the Eclipse, and the various machines buggered off, which is good, but we kind of skirted these machines around here. There was a corruptor
Them soon enough.
and a Deathbringer. We decided not to fight them on this occasion, which is the first time I've ever done that. Burn, my pretty.
Here we go again.
Okay. Oh. Okay, well, let's look at, we got some skills as well. What were we going to do? We were going to get this strike from below, which I very rarely would use. But what's interesting is getting this leader strike sorted. Might be too little too late, mind you. This is where we met Ross to go and do the sawtooth. So she's treading these areas of old ground that mean a lot to her.
Stocking up.
So out of the embrace into the greater Nora lands. So the sawtooth teeth, plural, didn't get into the embrace. They were knocking down the doors, and many braves would have died trying to stop these derangement machines coming through. And there is a flower that I missed on the way through. So we will grab that. I've chosen not to buy the maps of the various items and collectibles because I'm not sure it warrants us to go and get all of them. It doesn't sort of reveal enough to spend all that time doing it, especially the trinkets. The metal flowers are very interesting, of course, but each one is a poem within it. And in the DLC we do get to learn a little bit about the flowers, not too much, but so we'll keep them in mind. And this is where we first fought our first significant machine, our first
Good. I can use this.
first aggressive machine. And that was Ross's intention. For the first time, he wasn't going to be there to help us. He wanted to make sure that we could kill a machine of that ilk, come rain or shine. Because, oh yes,
Never know when I might need these.
nice bit of skin. Because that's what he knew our life was going to be. He knew from day one that he couldn't contain our curiosity. We didn't fear all mother and the ways of the old ones. He could see that. He knew that the tribe, the embrace walls couldn't contain Aloy. So he wanted to leave her in a situation where she was perfectly able to defend herself. And that was the last test. Hello, sir. Shadow sling, Carter's sharp shot bow. No, nothing much there. Okay. We cheese it up here. Ooh, this is interesting. We've got to blow that off. And then do that. Whereas the other one didn't have that. Maybe it's the ones outside the embrace. Turkey shoot. Okay, here we are. It's best to go around there, isn't it? Don't think we came at this in the right way.
Oh, I wonder what's down here.
Find a use for the power cell. Hey-oh! Yes, another metal flower here. What poem has this got? When the pine sapling grows to flower, who'll be there? It's very Confucius, isn't it? Lightning flash, what I thought were faces are plumes of pampas grass.
This isn't a cave. It's a ruin.
Okay.
Armor. From the age of the old ones. But how do I get to it?
Okay, so that's our prize. It's not a prize I enjoy. I enjoy the lore of it. But as an item, I don't like it.
A holographic interface. I think the old ones use numbers like this to indicate time.
Okay, so that's what happens when we go in. Okay.
These devices are missing power cells. I'll have to find power cells to get these to work.
Okay, repair fuse.
There. Fits. I just need to put in one more. That's two. It's some kind of code.
Okay, so that
Maybe
one's
there's a clue nearby.
12 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Maybe there's some more information
6 o'clock.
nearby. Something that will tell. Looks like each dial has 4 positions. Maybe if I get each dial in the right position.
9 o'clock.
Did it. Now to check the door.
Oh! We've got access to it. So we only needed 2 power cells. I don't think we've been here before and placed them in, have we? I just can't remember. No, because we would have taken that metal flower.
We're locked in place. Maybe there's a way to power up the mechanism, release the clamps.
I think maybe this is where we need more machines, more parts.
Just need to install
Yes.
these power cells. That should do it.
I just need 1 more, I think.
Only 2 more.
2 more? Ah, yes, 2 more. Okay, thanks, Aloy. Well, that was interesting to tickle our pickle and then deny it, but there it is. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. The reason I don't like it is that it shimmers and it distracts me. It's constantly shimmering. So ULTRAWERVE Mark 7 trials. So these are the ratings. Pass threshold. Impact, legs, notes. Weave is not tightening properly on the local impact test. We need to optimize existing sensors or add more. Next one's slightly better. Sensor optimization is successful, but torso protection is still lagging. Pass threshold. Getting there on the weave density and detection components, but an integration error on the left knee tanked the impact test. Ouch. Subject is going to be able to walk that one off. Surgery required. Isn't going to be able to walk that one off. Okay, so they go through many, many trials, and maybe it wasn't quite ready for their purposes towards the end. Maybe they couldn't quite get it to before they needed it to, but maybe that would have been a great help in enduring victory against the various swarms. ULTRAWERVE progress. General, you wanted fast, so this is to Heras. You wanted fast, cheap and good, and that's what we're going to deliver. By using a flexible nanofiber weave instead of plating and enhancing protection with a 400 EV hardlight microprojector, we've reduced our testing cycle from weeks to days, and I'm confident we can get the suit out by next month, with enough production to cover dozens of elite units at least. Better yet, it will be half the weight, half the cost, and offer twice the mobility. All we need is the balance of our funding, a few more techs and another experienced tech subject. I know resources are stretched to the breaking point, but any more delays will jeopardise the schedule, so please advise. May God be with you and Jane in these dark times. Okay. So General Harris has commissioned this and wanted it, but maybe the need for it subsided a little bit. Okay. Let's jettison out of here. Let's have a plan here. Okay, we've pretty much done everything in this area. I think we've got a bit more to do in the hunting grounds. Have we? No, we've done all of those. Let's look at the quests. Hunting grounds. So we've got to tie down Glinthawks using the rope caster. That's in the Great Run hunting grounds. We've done everything in Valleymeet, but not in Nora. So let's go and finish this one. Where in the map does that take us? All the way over here, which is about right in terms of what we need to do. We haven't been there to that settlement, so we should go and visit that. That's our major mission up here. But we've got other hunting grounds, other bandit camps. I think this is important to do. Release this up and get this quest over here to speak to Vanasha, because that is a nice quest to do. So I think if we go here, complete this one, and then head over to here. Oh, there's a raccoon. Oh, missed again. Yes.
This'll...
How are we doing in this regard? Oh, here we go. Ah, tear blaster ammo. Now we need fishbone. What's this one? Yes, raccoon bone, that's what we needed. Sharp shot quiver upgrade 2. Now we need raccoon skin.
Blast.
Okay, off to do this last little test.